All right, everybody, we got a fun one here today. Today's topic is video games I love that everybody else seems to hate. So today we're going to be looking at why I'm right and everybody else is wrong. That's one way of looking at it. Today I'm going to be looking at games that people have legitimate gripes over. These games are not 10 out of 10 games. I hear the criticism. I understand the criticism. I'm going to be breaking that down. I'm going to be talking about why people hate them and why I'm willing to overlook the flaws. So if that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to thumbs up the video and subscribe. We're going to go ahead and start today's topic. I originally wanted to do about 3 or 4, maybe even 5, because there's a couple of games I'm leaving off today. But my wife and I are having our second kid Saturday. And I know I haven't talked about it a lot on the channel, but we were originally scheduled for September 7th was going to be our due date, and we were going to have a C-section, so I knew it was going to be a little before, but we're having him a month early. Him and my wife are fine. It's just the internal conditions are no longer where they need to be for him, so we're just going to have him early. It'll be 36 weeks. He should be a healthy baby, and he'll be here Saturday. So that's kind of exciting. With all that said, it's just me and my daughter this week, so I'm going to take some free time to try to talk about 2 games for about 10 minutes or so before I need to go play with dolls and such with her. So here we go. Let's get it started, shall we? We're going to start with Balan Wonderworld. You know the list is starting off pretty darn controversial, I guess, when I'm about to record myself saying that I love Balan Wonderworld. Let's start with just a little bit of a background on Balan Wonderworld. For starters, it is the brainchild of the creative mind behind Sonic and Nights into Dreams, Yuji Naka. So you can imagine, I remember the reveal trailer for this. I lost my mind when they said we're getting a 3D platformer from the mind behind Sonic and Nights into Dreams, and it looked gorgeous. I really loved the environments and the characters and the costumes. I mean, absolutely thought everything about this game. But this is going to be, or Balan Wonderworld is one of the most controversial, if not the most controversial 3D platformer, maybe of all time. And I know that's probably going too far because Bubsy 3D exists, but I mean, we all collectively kind of thought, okay, this is going to be awesome. They're pulling the mind of Sonic into the new 3D space. He formed, what was it, Balan Company, Balan Studio, something like that, and was going to make games for Square Enix now, which was kind of exciting, a new 3D platformer. Well, what we found out, I'm pretty sure later, if I remember right, it wasn't until the game came out and started getting negative reviews, we found out that he actually parted ways with Square Enix, and they just went ahead with development without him. I think he was only there for like 6 months before they removed him. Pretty darn wild, right? But the reason that people hate this game is a really interesting button layout on their behalf. They decided to map everything to the A button. There's only a single button that you play in this game, and I'll admit, it does make gameplay a little weird. You think, okay, your jump is one button, your action is one button, but there are certain... Okay, just a step back. The game operates through costumes. Like, you're playing this main dude, and he only has a limited move pool at his disposal, but he can grab costumes to get new abilities. Only a certain number of these abilities even jump. To me, that was the weird part. To me, that's easily the worst part about this game, is you're used to your platformers, you jump with A, you action with B. In this game, everything's mapped to A, so if you have an outfit that doesn't jump, you just don't get to jump. I love the levels. I love the costumes. The problem, I think, is they made the uniqueness of this game, the character of this game, the charm, the button layout. Instead of look at these levels, look at these cutscenes, look at this music, look at these fun levels and fun platforming challenges. It became the talk of the town was how everything was mapped to one button. It was a disastrous choice, and I don't know if I've seen one single design choice derail a promising game quite like mapping everything to the A button. So why do I still love this game? And I've kind of hinted at it, right? In fact, I think I just spoke on it. The costumes are still fun. The levels are still really cool, and the cutscenes and music and all of those other aspects of the game are really good. I think there's a lot to still like here. The thing is, I think this is a fine rental. Do people even still rent games? I don't know. But if you had like, oh, I'm just going to beat a game real quick this weekend kind of thing, right? Then sure. The other problem with this game is when it came out, it was like $40-50 instead of being like a budget title. Because honestly, when I stack it up against, let's just say, A Hat in Time, Mario Odyssey, Bikini Bottom, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Crash Bandicoot Trilogy, it's hard to put it above those games. Those games, I mean, the Switch has had some real bangers. I would say the Spyro Reignited Trilogy, Mario Odyssey, those games are like 10 out of 10. Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, really legitimate games, where this game is never going to be as good as those. But I don't think you have to be as good as Super Mario Odyssey or as polished as Kirby to be a game that you can love. I love this game for what it is, I guess. The costumes are cool. The levels are fun. Yeah, the game needed to have 2 buttons for sure. They also probably needed to not kick Yuji Naka off the development team, right? That probably would have helped a lot. As it stands, this game falls short of what I thought it could be. But hey, if I got some free time on the weekend, I'll still pop this game in. It's still pretty fun. The last game I'm going to talk about today is Donkey Kong 64. What a game, right, guys? I grew up loving DK64. As a kid, I thought it was better than Mario 64. And I know if RetroBird's listening, that's probably going to get me thrown in his video game jail. I understand the consequences, the risk of saying out loud that I like DK64 better than Mario 64 as a kid. Here's the thing. I played it as an adult. Rose-colored glasses, nostalgic glasses aside, I still think DK64 is better than Mario 64. So let's talk about why people hated it. This game probably invented the term artificial fluff. This game probably invented the term length padding, right? Where I've heard people say that the worlds are empty. I've heard people say that the worlds are so big with nothing in them. And I've heard just a lot of hate and a lot of slander. I said, I loved this game as a kid. I gotta go back and play it. I gotta see what all the hate's about. And they're just wrong. Yes, this game has a lot of added content, right? Each of the 5 monkeys has their 5 100 colored bananas per level. So each level has 500 colored bananas. Each level also has each monkey's 5 golden bananas. So each level has 25 bananas. And a lot of levels will have the crowns you get from the little battle royales, along with 1 or 2 fairies. And of course, within the golden bananas, there are the blueprints that you can collect. A lot of things to collect. And I think it's not so much the collecting. I have this theory, right? You always hear it get a bad rap. People say, oh, it set the record for most collectibles, and that gets it a bad rap. But I think the part that people don't like is actually the backtracking. So this is a situation that you can run into in this game. There's 5 monkeys. Donkey Kong, Diddy Kong, Lanky Kong, Tiny Kong, Chunky Kong. Each with their own unique powers and their own golden bananas and their own colored bananas and stuff like that. You can legitimately use Chunky Kong to bust open a wall or a door, then have to backtrack to Tiny Kong to get a blueprint, then switch back to Donkey Kong to shoot a banana balloon, and then switch back to Diddy Kong to pick up bananas on the ground. That's all something that can happen. In fact, that's pretty frequent. That's a pretty normal occurrence. It's not weird at all to use one monkey to break open a section that another monkey needs that another monkey can get a golden banana from, and another monkey can get colored bananas from. And people like to make that out like it's the end of the world. Like, yeah, this game is 20, 30, 40 hours, but it's only because of all the backtracking you're doing. And backtracking is definitely real in this game, but I feel like there are enough character swaps throughout the stages. I never felt like there was a time where, oh, this is super egregious. Look at all the backtracking I'm having to do. There's these warp pads conveniently laid out throughout the level. So anytime it's like, oh, I'm Diddy Kong and I just opened somewhere where I need to be Lanky Kong, it's very easy to hop in a character swap, get on a warp pad, and warp to where I need to be. The times I'll say that it's the worst is there's a lot of subsections. Some are worse than others, but there are certain subsections that have the characters' ammo spots, like Diddy's little peanuts, where you shoot it as Diddy and it opens the door. And you'll go in and you'll run through the level and you'll grab the banana. And now you have to come out and jump as Chunky Kong, shoot his pineapple switch to go in and do that. So there's no switching inside of the actual sub-dungeon. To me, those are by far the worst examples of the backtracking. Otherwise, again, it's pretty convenient to get through such big levels. And I definitely can't say that the levels are massive for no reason or big and empty. It feels like there's always something to do around every corner, whether it's getting a blueprint, a golden banana, interacting with an NPC. There always feels like there's something to do in that part of the level. So those are the two major complaints with DK64, is the amount of collectibles and the character swapping, the artificial fluff, the backtracking, the way the levels feel big for no reason and you're just backtracking to kind of pad out the time. And they definitely have some legitimacy to them. You definitely will switch between the 5 monkeys pretty frequently, but each monkey is very unique. Tiny Kong with her ability to fly and shrink, Lanky Kong with his handstand and his speeding ability, Diddy Kong with his flying ability, Donkey Kong's ability to go indestructible, Chunky's ability to interact with heavy objects or punch through walls. They all do their own different thing. So for me, it's hard to say that the game feels too artificially inflated, because I felt like I was having fun. Sad story, I tried to go for the 101%. I actually got the the rare coin and the Nintendo coin, and I was at 93% when the cartridge just wiped my save. I don't know if that's a pin issue or a battery issue or what, because I'm pretty sure DK64 doesn't save to like a battery, if that makes sense. Like, you think Pokemon deletes your save because the battery dies. I don't think DK64 did that, but someone can tell me if I'm wrong. One way or the other, DK64 wiped my save, so I never quite got to 101%. I will say that around that time, I had 5 bananas left, guys. I had 5 bananas left. And what I found is that easily the worst part are the mini games. If the mini games were just bananas, they probably wouldn't be that bad. But a lot of the mini games just don't even feel like they were play tested. Looking at you, Beaver Bother. And to me, that you just kind of dreaded when you got to a bad mini game. Those were the parts that I dreaded. Nothing else really made me go. I mean, like, some of the races were kind of broken, but I think I beat all the races. Lanky Kong's race in the Crystal Caverns, Tiny's race in the Angry Aztec, Donkey Kong's boat race. That name escapes me, but Gloomy Gallons or something, the lighthouse level. I think I beat all the races. I beat Beaver Bother 3 times. I think you only play it 3 times, so I did a lot of the hard parts to get to that 93%. Obviously, I have the Nintendo and Rare Coin, and I enjoyed it. I got a little burned out towards the end, but I was at 93%. Still really enjoyed it. Still love it. I may try to go for the 101% if we ever start streaming again. It could be something fun, but those are the 2 games I wanted to look at today, DK64 and Balan Wonderland. There will be more games I want to talk about. I like the new Pokemons on the Switch. I feel like that's a little controversial. I liked Mario Party and Star Fox on Wii U, so there's still plenty of topics that we can talk about that are a little controversial. So let me know down below, guys, what games do y'all enjoy that people just hate? But you gotta understand, if it sounds like I'm being a little lenient or a little forgiving, remember, I did point out the flaws in these games, accepted their flaws, and still chose to ignore those flaws. And if that seems a little weird to you, remember that I have a 2-year-old daughter, so I'm used to loving things despite their flaws. So that's going to do it for me, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment if you enjoyed the video. Leave me some video recommendations. I will see you guys in the next exciting video. And I'll probably have a second kid by the time that happens. So that's exciting. Peace out, everybody. Have a great rest of your day.